What's up, everybody? Welcome to the part where we riff hard.
Do we have any heterosexuals in the house tonight? It's an honor to be here and celebrate God's design for sexuality. Any heteros over there? Is it cool if we stand on the stage? I want you guys to come back tomorrow and invite 500 friends each. Pray with me right now.
Welcome, everybody.
Lord,
Let's do some of this.
This is your design for sexuality, and we praise you and give thanks, and we ask that evil would stay away from here.
It all comes from a place of delusion. Cities get destroyed over their sexual confusions. Insecure, creating more than a breath. They need a heterosexual ego death. One of these drugs could destroy us all. Just because he's really bad, you call his penis small. Or if you've got a clue about the gay ideation, they'd rather hit the button and just wipe the fucking nation.
Do we have any heterosexuals in the house tonight?
My hands, ball. Something else must be
By the
spotted.
way, I'm looking over at Boise PD. Thank you, guys. Any heteros over there?
Citizens sending rubber bullets in the face. What biggest measure dicks with the bouncy house race? American rights are at risk every day. But these bigots can't tell us if you get a parade. Hetero delusional, they need evaluation. Everything they do is just a gender reformation. Some companies is gone, so they need your confirmation. There's only one thing left, they can see the population. Heterosexual ego death. Heterosexual ego death.
And I actually heard that there's a challenge going on with Mark here.
So there's this guy.
Hellion.Vision.
Where is he? He's a musician. He's a cool guy. He's God's design for
That's so
sexuality.
nice.
Fuck you, Mark Fitzpatrick. Eat shit, bigot.
That's fresh.
Hey Mark, you know you're really sad. You want that fascist felon pedophile to notice you so bad with all that polish on your mouth. It's like you're dressed in fucking drag. Daddy's little neo-Nazi, what else can I say? You're just the product of undereducation, random misinformation, fear and total desperation to avoid any self-examination. You're from a coddled generation. You know it's people like you that are making America a mediocre nation.
When Sanskrit was my mother tongue, scared of silver pillows. Fruitful with seeds for them, hopeful with some seeds. And in that passage we just fun, so we have been spun. When a girl that's sleeping in, curtain made them now. Up that hill go the last of my crumbs. We'll be lucky if we eat tonight. Up that hill go the last of my crumbs. Came and light is past, jagged on the brink. Oil brought through them. Strangled in the background, did it for a mask. You still won't believe you, has to been so fast. Up that hill go the last of my crops. We'll be lucky if we eat tonight. But up that hill go the last of my crops. That's why I'll magnify a home. Dragging the lake, I've got the wealth of half the world. You better keep on looking for me. I've got half the wealth of the world. Don't stop dragging the lake, don't stop dragging the lake. I won't go home if you can't go home. Better keep on looking for me.
Who here likes sad boy music? Get into that typo negative.
I don't wanna be me. I don't wanna be me anymore.
right, one last
host
one,
this
one last
briefing today in honor of National Bring Your Kids to
Thank
Work
you,
Day.
Ajax.
My job at
You
the
notice
White
that
House
sick
is to
guitar color?
communicate the president's message. We are here
That's
to
my
make
baby. What should we
America
name
great
this?
again.
What should we name this
live
group?
in the best
Shouldn't have a
country
name.
in the history
My other
of
guitar is
the
named
world.
Treebeard. We really should name this one.
I've seen him give many hugs to children. How many people has he fired? We have not had anyone fired. What's the state of the border?
Civil rights groups say last week's deportations included 3 American children, all U.S. citizens. One of them is battling cancer. Parenting 101.
And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
All right, everybody, don't you go anywhere. No commercial break. You're going to watch me change over, but I got some tunes for you. Hold on one second. This is Coheed and Cambria before they were Coheed and Cambria. They're called Shibuti. Let's go Super Ghost UK. Glad to live stream. We just finished riffing.
You may think you do what you don't. This giant question I wish you'd leave me alone.
What's up, gang? What's up? Welcome to another stream. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sticking for the tunes. I appreciate you guys coming out for the riffs. We had a couple weeks off. Kind of getting our riff legs back. It's been a good time. How you guys like the shabuti? Hey, you guys like that shabuti? Again, that's Coheed and Cambria before they were Coheed and Cambria. Very cool stuff. They have a good amount of songs if you're into it too. Shabuti. Nice and raw. Pretty old school. Shabutie. Shabuti. Like, what's that? It's shabuti. Oh, I gotta crank my knobs, gang. No wonder. I was probably so quiet. Oh, and I probably have reverb on my thing. Hold on. Yeah, you can hear Claudio Sanchez doing his thing. Early days. Okay. All right, guys. What do you guys think? I feel like it's probably more fun to listen to tunes and watch me as I clean up that shit. What do you think? I mean, not necessarily watching me clean up that shit, but listening to tunes is probably more fun than the ad that I used to play. So we'll stick with that because it just feels right. The vibe feels right. So anyway, guys, welcome to the Monday night stream. Very happy to have you here. A few things we've got. If you haven't seen the schedule for tonight, oh yes, Count Binface. He didn't go to count school for 1,000 years on planet Sigma 9 for nothing. No, that's not JK Super Ghost. That's not JK. We will be diving deep into the bin tonight, okay? Especially since the first thing we're going to be talking about is another death in Delaney Hall, okay? So we're going to start with that up top, okay? We're going to get that. We're going to go over it. And we're going to then go on to Count Binface and have some fun, some goofs, some gags, okay? But a West German band called Protector. I'll have to check them out, Tom. Hell yeah. Oh, let me bash a bot here. Get bashed, you bot. Tom, I'll definitely check them out. Protector. For some reason, whenever I think of like German metal bands, I think of the scene from Clerks. Would you like to having sex, Berserker? I always think of that. I don't know why. Okay. Anyway, guys. So for anybody who's kind of new or not necessarily up to date with what's been going on, one thing that I've kind of been doing a lot lately is a lot. I mean, every weekday I go to Delaney Hall, the ICE detention center here in Newark, New Jersey, and I bring food to the protesters. That's like the main thing I do, and then, you know, there's all sorts of stuff. If you've probably seen my videos. I have a playlist on it, but you know, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I have videos of me confronting ICE and all sorts of shit like that and asking them questions. But and we've been working with Gabriela Soto and Martin Soto trying to free her husband Martin. and we did an interview with him out of the detention center in Elizabeth here in New Jersey as well. But continuing on with the Delaney Hall news, somebody died there early this morning. Well, there's conflicting reports. There's what the family says and what we believe and what we heard immediately. And then there's ISIS story as well, which, obviously we cannot trust. So I have actually an interview that was done this morning by the family of Edwin Giovanni, who was murdered. And it's in Spanish, but I translated it to English for us. So I'm going to play it for us, and I'll read it and everything. But first, let me just go over a little bit of the coverage from what actually happened there. So let me give you a quick summary, and then we'll go over it. So essentially, and this is pretty crazy. This is what being out at this stuff. Also, like, I heard of this like right this morning when I was there at Delaney Hall. Like around 9 a.m., 8:30 a.m. before I go for work. I drop stuff off and then I head back for work. And this text came in that somebody had died. We didn't know anything. We didn't have any information, and now more information has come out. So we're gonna check this out real quick here. So another Delaney Hall ICE prisoner has died, the name being Edwin Giovanni Lopez Cornejo. They had diabetes, high blood pressure, and seizures, and they died on August 1st. We're told that they were deprived medication at Delaney Hall. So this is the news we basically heard this morning. So
ICE prisoner has died. Edwin.
Okay, we'll go through this article and then we'll look at the what the family said. I want to hear directly from the family. So Edwin Giovanni Lopez Cornejo has been in America for 20 years. Came here as a child and died on Saturday, August 1st. He had a 12-year-old daughter. That's heartbreaking shit. So basically, what we're gonna hear from his mother, Maria. We're going to hear about his medications that he needed, diabetes, high blood pressure, and seizure medication. And, like, this is haunting because, this is exactly what we've heard from Martin. When we interviewed him, one of the main things that really struck me, and I'm sure struck everybody, was how he was telling us a story about how there was one of his compatriots in there who was foaming from the mouth and had his eyes rolling back because he wasn't getting his regular seizure medication. Okay, so again, the Geo Group, this company, says that they have all of these commodities, all of this staff. They do not, and they don't care about the people in there as well. So now we're also going to hear how ICE kind of changed the story up. So Super Ghost UK, as a German, America, please don't do what we done 80 plus years ago. It's not a good headspace for you or anyone, but most importantly, it's destroying lives. 100%. Thank you, Super Ghost UK. And this shit it's a concentration camp. They're being made to do forced labor. The labor program is said to be voluntary, but what we hear reports of are people do not get an option. They're paid $1 a day for their labor, and they have to spend that within. They don't have to, but in able to get certain things, they have to spend it within Delaney Hall if they just want to have the basic necessities to survive, right? And on top of that, we've been seeing videos of water that they're being given contaminated with worms. And now this goes right along with what Martin told us as well, as he was being fed worms. And people say, oh, no, this isn't happening. Now there's actual video of worms in the water. And when I cut this into a clippable thing on YouTube, I'll add that footage in right here and everything. So basically, this detainee, Edwin, was denied his medication while at Delaney Hall. And so an ambulance took him out of Delaney Hall, and basically he was detained on June 18th on his way to work. Shortly before his death, he was denied visitation to see his 12-year-old daughter. That's just the other thing, too. Unlimited cruelty with these motherfuckers. No reason for him not to be able to see his daughter, but this is how they This is how they do retribution. This is how they punish people. Like Martine has been in solitary confinement for months now. And that's what you do to people who are murderers. That's what you do when you're trying to break people down. You're trying to mentally destroy them. That's not what you do to people who are just here, who are in the process of getting naturalized. It's inhumane. It's absolutely sickening. So all right, let's get into this. Let's check out the interview now. So let me pull it up here. I got it translated for us. I gotta grab it from my back end here. 1 second. Okay. So this interview is all in Spanish. I put translated text in for us. I'll also read it. Okay, so I will read it if you're not watching the screen. I'll read it out loud. All right. So let me just get the volume here.
Anunciamos los atropellos
All right.
que suceden en nuestra darles.
All right, guys. So here we go.
Hola, ¿qué tal, amigos? Muy buenos días.
You're saying hello, friends. How are you doing?
Radio
Radio Cosecha. So this video is brought to us by the organization Cosecha. They've been doing a lot of work. This is Tati, and today we're here with the communities in New Jersey where our Latino community lives. And it is to give you some sad news. We as a community media broadcast provide support, but we also denounce the abuses that happen in our community. This translation's not perfect, guys, also be aware. Today I'm with Maria Cornejo, mother of Edwin Lopez Cornejo.
María, buenos días. No le debo de preguntar cómo está porque lo
I shouldn't ask how you're doing because I can imagine.
Cuéntanos un poquito.
Tell us a little about what Edwin was like.
Edwin.
My son was a person who had no vices, and I had no complaints about my son. He was an excellent son. He had a little girl. He was a good father. I have nothing bad to say about my son. He was a good father. He was my second son, and today I have lost him at the hands of immigration. Jesus. I don't have this pain. She doesn't know how to heal this pain because her son has left this world with very deep pain. These men go around grabbing working people, and she doesn't know how her son fell into their hands. Jesus. Super Ghost UK, why ruin lives? Ego to feel special. True strength comes from lifting people up, not treading on those less fortunate or different. Beautifully said. I mean, it's such a simple concept. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. I don't know how this cruelty exists in the world, honestly. Having seen these ICE agents in person, having, you know, we know Gabriella on this channel. We know personally people whose lives are affected by this. You know, people that we love are being destroyed by this. And the amount of cruelty, it's insane. Like, this is the stuff that they say they do to, like, the worst of the worst, right? But really, the reality is they will do this to whoever they see fit, whoever is the enemy of the state at the moment. And right now, it's immigrants, and this is just foul. I don't know how they treated him in there, but unfortunately, my son passed away, and I haven't received any kind of call from there regarding where he passed away, because he didn't pass away at the hospital. He passed away at the detention center. Now, this is the thing, too. This is the thing that we're gonna, sorry, I lost our spot. Now, this is the thing we're gonna hear. Basically, as the family reports, he died at Delaney Hall, but it's to ICE's benefit to try to find a way to say, no, this didn't happen at the detention center. This happened when he got to the hospital. Because they have some sort of law or something that, you know, we'll see it in a little bit. But there's something that makes it so that they basically want to get off the hook for this. And if he doesn't die on their property, that's like something for them. Okay.
De donde él falleció, porque él no falleció en el hospital, él falleció en el centro de detención.
So yeah, she's just said that he passed away at the detention center, not the hospital. They already called me from the hospital saying that when he arrived, he was already deceased. Okay, so the hospital called the family and said he was already dead by the time that they got there. Now, why would the hospital lie about that? The hospital has no reason to lie. They stand to benefit nothing from lying. However, ICE does stand to benefit from lying. So I'm absolutely going to trust the hospital and the family. Are you kidding me? Ajax, of course, happy to read this stuff. Let me know if the balance is good. I know I'm reading over them talking, so I hope it's not like too blah, 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 blah. Let me know if it is. Super Ghost, your family went through all that trash, then forced to fight for that nasty mustache man who they all despised with a passion. That's wild. Yeah, I mean, fascism just destroys us in so many ways. It's disgusting, and this is it. I mean, this is fascism living right here. Don't ever say it can't happen here, because it happens right here. It's happening right now. So they're saying now what we were talking about a little bit off camera. Giovanni was a hardworking father, like all the immigrants who come in search of a better life. Tell us, how long ago did Johnny arrive here in the United States? My son was about to have been in this country for 20 years. In this country, he only lived in 2 places. Here in this place, where we are, from where he just left to go get his job, and, well, what just happened? To run into these men who captured him. And that was on June 18th when they grabbed her son. So she's saying, you know, her son has only been in this area. He's only been around the family. Like, you know, there's not like this plot to be moving around the country, and that's what people come here to do. They just come here to have a family. Like, literally, that's the only thing people want. She says, I called my son and he never answered me. When he finally called me in the afternoon, after I came home from work, he told me he was at the Newark Detention Center. And I felt really bad. I felt really bad when he told me they had grabbed him because he was not a violent person. I asked him if they had mistreated him, and he just told me that they had put the handcuffs on him very tightly, and that his hands had turned purple. And he said that I have marks, Mom. He said from the handcuffs that they put on me, my little hands are all purple, he said. Jesus. So, basically, oh, Lizard, welcome. Welcome. Don't worry. You know the mosh time is always there. It always lives on. We do it every week. So, Lizard, there was another death in Delaney Hall today. So we're just covering that really quick before we get into the other stuff. This is the interview with the mother of the detainee who was killed. So the host from Cosecha here is telling us, let's remember that just this year, 22 people have died or have been killed by ICE. And we don't want the community to continue just being another number. 100%. This is why I think it's important to be here this morning with the Lopez Cornejo family. I repeat, we are community media. We do not profit from the news. What we want is for this injustice to be spread, as Giovanni's mother just said. I think it is also important to be empathetic at these times because sometimes we have different opinions. So I think that at these times, the family and the entire immigrant community need that empathy. When was the last time you spoke with Giovanni? It was Friday that my son spoke to me, saying that he felt bad, that a part of his face and his right hand had gone numb, and that he had had a consultation that day, and that they were going to run some tests, but he didn't tell me when they were going to do them.
Eso me dijo él que se
That's what he
sentía
told
mal, y
me,
yo le
that
dije
he
que si
felt
le daban
bad, and I asked
medicina,
him if they
eso
gave him
ya no me
medicine,
dijo si le
but he
habían
didn't tell
dado
me
o
whether
no.
they had given him any or
Y
not.
él tomaba
And he
medicina
took
para
medicine
la
for
diabetes,
diabetes,
para
for
la
blood pressure,
presión y
and
para
for seizures, and
convulsiones.
that
Y yo eso sí, yo no lo sé
I don't
si
know if
esa
they were going
medicina
to
se la
give
estaban
my
dando
son
a
that
mi hijo en
medicine
el
at the
centro de
detention center.
detención.
Y esa es una de las razones por
Is
las
that one of the
que
reasons why you believe he was admitted?
ingresa.
Esa es una de las razones
That is
que
one of
yo
the reasons
creo
I
que fue
believe
la
was the
causante
cause
de
of
la
my
muerte
son's
de
death
mi
because
hijo
of the
por la
negligence.
negligencia que no le dieron.
I mean, this is terrible. The family can't even find out why their son died. This is just her guess.
A él su medicamento.
So she's saying that, right, for him to end up dead before even getting to the hospital, it's very likely that they were not giving him his medications on time that he had to take.
Que él tenía que tomar.
Okay. ¿En qué momento, el
And at
viernes
what
la
point?
última
Friday
llamada
is the
nos
last
decía
call.
alrededor
You
de
told
las
us
6 de
around
la
6 in
tarde,
the
y
evening.
usted hasta el día sábado
And you didn't
recibe
receive
esa
this notification until
notificación por parte
Saturday
de
from
quién
whom
que su
that your
hijo ha
son had
fallecido.
passed away.
Yo la notificación la recibí de parte del hospital.
Received the notification
Me
from the
llamaron que ahí
hospital.
lo
They
tenían,
called me
que mi
saying
hijo
that
ya había
they
llegado
had
a
him
su
there,
vida,
that
que
my
el
son had
corazón
already
ya había
arrived without
parado.
life, that his heart had
Por
already
eso digo
stopped.
que mi hijo murió en
That's
el
why I say my
centro
son
de
died in the
detención,
detention
porque
center,
cuando
because
ellos lo
when they
recibieron ya mi
received
hijo
him,
ya no llevaba
my
su
son's
corazón que
heart
le
was no longer
palpitara.
beating. 1000%. I mean, that's absolutely the logical conclusion that you would draw. I mean, and again, the hospital has no reason to fucking lie about the guy coming in and already being dead. If anything, the hospital has every incentive in the world to do every treatment on the person, right? So it makes no sense for them to lie about that, but it makes plenty of sense for ICE to lie about it because they want to get away with this shit.
Y me llamaron del hospital que yo tenía que ir
And
a
they called me from the
reconocer, y del
hospital saying I
centro
had
de
to go
detención yo
identify
no
him,
recibí
and I hadn't
ninguna
received any
noticia,
news from
ni
the
yo ni
detention
la
center.
abogada
Neither
le
I
han
nor the
notificado nada.
lawyer had been notified of
Muy bien,
anything. Excuse me, this shit is literally fucking making me die. Fuck. Holy shit. I mean, like, oh, some kind of medical financial fraud for sure? Yeah. Yeah, no human should be treated like that, Super Ghost, 100%. Lizard, terrible to hear. All of these innocent people being on memorials everywhere when the survivors are liberated from these concentration camps. Yeah. They do belong on memorials. And I mean, there was a vigil outside of Delaney Hall tonight, so, you know, I heard that there was at least that going on tonight, but you know, these people are going to be forgotten. I'm afraid they're going to be forgotten by, you know, the world at large. You know, we see like tons of noise get made for, you know, the Renee Goods and the Alex Preddies as it should be. But I'm afraid that when these people die in detention centers, it's just not. I mean, how do you stop this evil fucking empire that wants to do this to people, that just wants to break people? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Honestly, this level of evil has been baffling to me. So how did the hospital contact you?
Porque supuestamente mi hijo en el
Supposedly my
expediente que
son
él
had
tenía, ahí
my
estaba mi
number
número
registered in his
registrado,
file
porque
because
soy la
I'm
madre
Edwin's
de
mother. Okay,
Edwin.
so she was his emergency
Ella era mi
contact.
número al que me
It was my
llamaban.
number that they
Cualquier
called.
cosa que mi hijo
Anything
fuera
regarding
al
my son
número,
went to
mi
my
número
number. It
era
wasn't
otro
another
número,
number. It was
sino
only
que
mine
solamente
that
tenía de contacto
he
con
had
el
as a
expediente.
contact in that file.
Muy bien.
So
Y bueno, anoche recibimos la llamada de usted. ¿Por qué crees que es importante
So why do you think it's important at this moment to raise your voice about what is happening with Giovanni and as we have already been seeing?
Porque esto, pues, este dolor que me han causado a
This
mí,
pain they have caused me
ahora,
now, they haven't
no solo
just
a mí me lo
caused
han
it to
causado,
me,
sino que hay
but there are
mucha gente
many
en
people
este
in this
país a
country
quienes
to
han
whom they are
causado estos
causing
dolores,
this pain.
pero lamentablemente
But
la
unfortunately, I am the
residencia
one who has
yo,
recently
que
lost my
perdió
son.
mi hijo, y si no ponen
And if they don't ensure that
que
justice is
se haga
served, well,
justicia,
they will always
ellos
continue
van
with
a
this.
continuar siempre con esto, y no
And
sabemos
we don't know
cuántas
how many more
personas más
people we have to
tenemos que
lose in
perder
this
en este
country.
país. Personas trabajadoras,
Hardworking people, people who
personas que no
aren't
andan
involved in other
en
things,
otras
but
cosas, sino
who
que se dedican
dedicate
al trabajo, son las
themselves
personas que
to
están
work.
agarrando.
And those are the people that
Así
they're
es, don
grabbing.
Freddy. Estos que fueron casi 6 semanas.
Yeah, that's holy shit. And again, as we've discussed in Delaney Hall, by their own statistics, I believe it is about like 90% of the people have no criminal convictions, and 75% don't even have criminal cases of anything, right? So there's basically nobody in there who deserves to be in there. During these almost 6 weeks that he was detained, were you constantly going to visit him?
En estas 6 semanas,
In these 6 weeks,
lamentablemente, yo no pude
unfortunately,
ver a
I
mi
couldn't
hijo
see my
porque
son
ellos
because
daban una
they were
solicitud
given a
para
form
poner
there
ellos a los
to list
que
those
podían
who
ir a
could come to
visitarlo.
visit them.
Y mi hijo llenó
And my
una
son filled out a
solicitud, pero no
form,
me puso
but
a
he
mí,
didn't
sino
put me
que a una
down.
tía
He
que
put down an
quería que
aunt
llevara
because
a
he
su
wanted to
hija
bring his
que él
daughter,
quería
whom he
verla, y
wanted to see.
lamentablemente
And
ya no
unfortunately,
pudo ver a
he
su
was
hija.
no longer able to see his
Su hijo se
daughter.
llama
His daughter's
Ashley
name is
López,
Ashley
tiene 12 años
Lopez.
la
The girl
niña.
is 12 years old.
La deja huérfana.
He leaves her an orphan. He leaves his child, my son, an orphan, and he leaves me with a very deep pain.
Yo no quiero que otras madres sigan pasando lo
I don't want
mismo
other
que yo
mothers to
estoy
go
pasando.
through
Yo
what
lo
I
que
am
quiero
going
es
through.
justicia.
What I want
La
is
muerte de mi
justice.
hijo no quede así.
May my son's death not just be
Estamos
left
escuchando
like
las
this.
palabras de María, madre de Edwin, Giovanni. Y como ella lo
Jesus.
acaba de
So this is
decir,
Maria. That's the mother of Giovanni.
creo que nadie de nosotros en la comunidad queremos que
None
esto
of
siga
us
pasando.
in the community
Y por
want
eso
this
es
to keep
importante,
happening.
a
And that is why it's
amplificar esto
important to
que acaba
amplify
de
what has
suceder.
just happened.
Es triste,
It is
no hay
sad. There are
palabras.
no
Es
words.
muy difícil.
It's very difficult. It's hard. Yeah, Super Ghost. It's hard enough burying a parent, but imagine how soul destroying it is to bury a daughter or son. It's crazy because my aunt died in her 60s. She died relatively young, and my grandfather, had to see his daughter die, and I'll never forget being out in the backyard in his garden, and he was talking to me and my older brother, and it was the only time I'd ever heard him question God out loud, question the existence of God, or question the will of God or anything like that. I'm not religious, as we've talked about before, but he was, and I remember him, asking why God would do that to a person, and yeah, I can't imagine how much it must shake you to your core. I have a child. I can't even go there. I don't know. This is just, and everybody who's in there is somebody's son or father or Martine is a father, so it's not just like Martine is in detention and that's it. There's a family on the outside who's being tormented and tortured just as much as he is. There's a 4-year-old girl who's being tormented. Like, this is torture. Look at how broken this person is because of this. This is inhumane. We ask for full solidarity, but above all, I repeat, we as media for the community are also standing with you and at the same time demanding justice for Edwin.
Gracias. Que así sea. No quiero que esto quede impune lo de mi hijo.
I don't want my son's case to go
Aunque con eso
unpunished.
no lo devuelvo a mi hijo, pero
Although
no
that
quiero
won't bring
que
my
estas
son
personas
back, I don't
pasen lo
want
mismo
other
que yo
people to
estoy
go
pasando.
through what I am going through. That's right. We're also here with Giovanni's family. His father is here, his siblings, his aunts and uncles, and we are also going to speak with his aunt and his brother, Danilo.
No se me vaya. No se me vaya. ¿Me puede decir, por favor, cómo es su nombre?
Danilo López.
Jesus,
Danilo,
this is his
¿cuándo fue la
brother.
última vez que usted habló con Giovanni?
So this is his brother Danilo, and she just asked when was the last time that he spoke to Giovanni? Friday. We have always been brothers. He was the youngest. I'm the oldest. I don't know under what circumstances or why they detained him, knowing that he had a valid work permit. They didn't care. They arrested him. He had medical supplies because he had health issues, and they didn't allow him to have them as he should have had them. Because of that, perhaps that was the cause of my brother's death.
I never had any complaints about him. An excellent brother, an excellent son, an excellent father. Always working. Looking out for the best for his daughter, for everything in the family. And I would like for this not to be left like this, for him not to just be one more in the crowd, but for us to demand justice for him. Because the pain that we are going through at these moments, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I don't want this to keep spreading. Because it hurts a lot. It leaves a void. It leaves a daughter an orphan. And above all, it leaves an irreparable family whole. And that is why I ask for justice for my brother. And then we have Edwin's aunt. So this is going to be Edwin's aunt. Oh, and I think this would have been the aunt that was on the visitation form. So this is probably someone who's very close to his daughter.
Mi nombre es Sebastiana Cornejo.
Sebastiana Cornejo, aunt of my deceased nephew who passed away because of ICE. For having captured him. He was on his way to work, and we didn't know anything about him until he communicated in the afternoon that he was already detained in Newark. And from there, he has passed away, and we ask that these deportations stop, that they stop separating families and children. We're being left orphans without anyone's protection. Who's going to protect them? Being children born as American citizens. Why? Why are they detaining so many hardworking people if we immigrants don't do any harm to anyone? We come to work, not to harm anyone. That is what I ask, that justice be served, that they not leave children unprotected, because parents are the heads of the household who work to support their children. That is it. I ask for justice, that these raids be stopped, that they not be used against us, and we don't do any harm to anyone.
¿Usted visitaba a Giovanni?
Did you visit Giovanni? No, they didn't give anyone permission because he authorized a request and they didn't approve it. They didn't approve it until this moment when he passed away. We are hurting as a family, and we don't want this to keep happening to other people, that they don't leave children unprotected. These are my words. Yeah, for everybody just coming in, there was another death at Delaney Hall on Friday. Saturday, the family found out because the hospital contacted them, not Delaney Hall. And now ICE is claiming that they died at the hospital, not at Delaney Hall. But we know that's not true. It hurts me for my niece who's been left without a father. She's a very studious girl. My nephew was a very hardworking young man, and he was a good father, a good son, a good nephew to all of us. That is why I ask for justice, that this not be left like this, that there be someone to put a stop to these people who are treating them like criminals, which we are not. We are hardworking people. Writer, fantastic point. Yes, it was just a week ago that a committee met and claimed everything was fine at the hall. You're absolutely right about that, Writer, because we watched that here, and they said they're eating good. They've got a dentist. They've got this, that, and the other. Thank you, Writer. I totally forgot. Fuck Van Drew. Oh, we gotta. And they had the fucking gall to talk shit on Martine. Murderers. These are murderers. Writer, thank you for reminding me of that. I totally forgot. I mean, you just, shit just happens so fucking fast. that it just like you can't even hold on to anything for a minute.
Escuchado las palabras de la familia de Edwin.
So this is the family. We heard from the family, his aunt, his brother. He's a hardworking father, a responsible person, a loving son. And this story sounds very familiar if you've been following this stuff, right? I mean, like, if you've been following this stuff, this is what you hear about every fucking person who's been killed by ICE. Hard worker, great community member, right? So strange that, like, I swear, I thought the whole thing was criminals, but no. To anybody who ever uses that excuse for anything, like, how blind can you be to how for-profit prison works? This is the darkest shit we've got. This is slavery. This is death. This is all of it.
Estas son las personas de nuestra comunidad.
These are the people in our community who are being targeted by these injustices and everything that has been happening. And we do not want another family to have to go through this experience or experience a situation like this again. That is why we need this news to be spread so that Edwin and all the people who have died at the hands of ICE receive justice.
Señora, quisiera decir algo más?
Anything else to say from the mother? This pain won't heal. This pain for my son will never go away. This pain I have no matter what, the loss of my son is irreparable. I will never ever see my son again.
Nunca, jamás voy a volver a ver a mi hijo. Este dolor.
This pain, I cannot bear this pain. Please let them stop all of this. My little girl is left helpless without her father. My son, who is a hardworking man. We did not come here to hurt anyone. We came here to work. This country moves forward because of immigrants, not because of Americans. It's because of immigrants that this country moves forward. But they do not see that. They only see the harm that they are doing, but they do not see the good that we do in this country. I've been here for 23 years and I only dedicated myself to working. I do not hurt anyone. My son was 20 years old. My son only dedicated himself to working. He did not dedicate himself to hurting anyone. He didn't even have any vices. How did he end up in the hands of these people? I demand justice. It is the only thing I ask for, justice for my son so that this is not go unpunished. Thank you to everyone who's been watching, receiving voices, justice for Edwin, Giovanni, so that no one else has to go through this again.
Y pues por ahí también alguien más quisiera dar algunas palabras.
Someone else is going to say a few words.
Hola, ¿cómo es su nombre?
Buenos días, mi nombre es Mónica.
This is Monica.
Sí, es cierto.
Oh, this is their neighbor. Shit, this is their neighbor. Oh, fuck. Super Ghost, I do hope the people that done this remember that the Nuremberg trials, it was the pay slips and paperwork that got the fascists locked up, mask or no mask. I really hope so. Super Ghost, we got our fingers crossed for Nuremberger over here, okay? That's going to be the American sequel. Nuremberger 2, Electric Boogaloo. Writer, almost like those who work with ICE right now don't see immigrants as humans and are breaking multiple laws in the Bible. Ooh, yes, but get theological on them, because these motherfuckers love their Jesus, they love their God, and yeah, I don't think Jesus would be doing this. I don't remember any part of the Bible where Jesus imprisoned people until they died. He was like very much the opposite of that kind of vibe. So, this is the neighbor now. It's true. It is what's happening to our neighbors. We don't want it to happen to any other family. I also have my husband there. He has been detained for 6 months now, and there's no response. I have 3 children born here, and the little one, who's 8 years old, has more than 10 medical diagnoses, and even then, they have not let him out. Not through habeas corpus or anything. We do not want another case like our neighbors to happen. We live here in an apartment complex and we are acquaintances and my children are suffering a lot. My little girl, my 8-year-old boy, he is a child with many medical needs. He is someone, he needs someone with him all the time. He can't speak. He doesn't walk well. And if I dedicate myself to taking care of him, I can't work. And if I work, I neglect the child. I don't even know what to do. It's been 6 months since he's been in there. She's Ecuadorian. She says he's been there for 20 years. And also has, oh, so they're Ecuadorian and they're saying that their husband has been here for 20 years and also has a valid work permit. He had a CDL. He had a CDL truck license. He drove big trucks. And I've been here for 26 years as well. My 3 children were all born here. This is a mother who also joins us in this plea for justice, as you've just heard. Her husband has also been detained for 6 months, and it is difficult. It is difficult. Because there are no words at this moment. Just the fact that they are inside is enough to make it difficult to listen to the families. But I think it is important that we continue to spread the word and continue to denounce these abuses against our immigrant community, our hardworking immigrant community, who only came to this country to get ahead. And the fact that this criminalization of this country has made staying here in this country even more difficult. We're saying goodbye, but not before telling you not to forget to keep sharing. Because we have to keep spreading the word. We have to keep amplifying the voices of our people, the voices of our community. And today from here, from Giovanni's family's home, we ask for justice.
Okay, espero que así sea.
Oh. All right, guys. So this is what's happening in our country right now. I mean, it's as real as it gets. And I hope, you know, I don't always want to be showing you guys stuff that's like such downer. You know, I get it. It's sad stuff. But like, you know, these are the people from my state. These are my people who I love. They're no different than me as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, I think it's important for anybody who feels that way. Like, we have to talk about it and we have to make it. I don't even know. Honestly. I mean, it's been like over 50 days that we've been at Delaney Hall and this shit just keeps going. But we're not going to stop. Representative Menendez was able to go in there today and didn't like what they saw. I don't remember exactly what they said. Maybe I'll clip it here or something when I have a chance. But ICE now is claiming that they didn't die there on the premises. We know that they definitely did. You know, that's in my opinion. But I mean, this is it. I urge you, the only thing left to do at this point, I urge you to find an immigrant group in your community that you can help, an organization, right, is what I mean. Go out to these vigils, make noise, be part of the mass if you can. If you can't, find those community organizations that if you can provide financial support, try to do that. Otherwise, amplify these stories, you know? It's fucking, yeah, Tom, it's fucking disgusting. At least during World War II, this country knew how to deal with fascists. Yeah, I miss the days of, like, we would watch Indiana Jones and, like, he would punch a Nazi into, like, rotating airplane propellers, and we'd be like, that's the sickest shit I ever seen. Bring that vibe back, please. Yeah, Super Ghost, this is the kind of stuff that would make Skynet say, yeah, humanity is a threat even to itself, 100%. Oh my God. I'm too Terminatored up not to be constantly afraid of the Skynet threat to us. Yeah. All right, guys. So, that's what's going on. That's what's going on at Delaney Hall. Okay, a tough one. I know that one was a difficult segment. So let's get into our lighter fare now. Now, Count Binhead. Okay, you know him, you love him. I do too. And today we're gonna dive deep into the bin. Okay, because the last video did well, and YouTube dictates that means I should do it again. I should do another one. But this time, we're going to get a little familiar with the seaside town of Clacton. That's right. Clacton is where Count Binface is running against Nigel Farage. We'll look what the polls are saying. See if this bin can really snag the win. Okay? And we'll also do a little looking into these shady crypto billionaires who've been funding him. Ooh, that's right. So let's kick this off first with a little bin watch session. Just to refresh anybody who's maybe doesn't remember exactly everything about the bin, let's get a little refresher course going here. Let me get my screen all perfect and beautiful for you fine people. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, my gosh. Isn't it lovely? Now, let me do it like that. Yeah. Then I can make it bigger. All right, I'm going to stop making these noises. I feel like I'm crossing a line here. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, I see why it's doing this. I forgot. Okay, anyway, enough of me talking to myself. All right, everybody. Binface versus Farage, right? Nigel Farage, the anti-establishment incumbent. Now, I've been very graced with the presence of many UK watchers on the Binface video. So I've been enlightened to a little bit of the UK's dark secrets, okay? In so much as that some of them have made comments that I've read and went, oh, interesting, that's that thing. So let's go through this, and we'll get our education a little more in depth here. We're gonna become well-rounded UK politicians by the end of this.
On Tuesday, Nigel Farage made the politically risky move of resigning as an MP in order to trigger a by-election in his constituency of Clacton.
Now remember, the guy Nigel Farage, he got a donation from a crypto billionaire, did not declare it. They say, uh-oh, that's sketchy. We want to investigate that. He says, well, if you're going to investigate that and shame me, then I'm going to withdraw from my role as in Parliament and force another by-election, thinking that all the other parties would put candidates up and he would like crush them, and then the story would be, oh, Farage is anti-establishment, and even when you do this investigation, it's not going to matter because he's the dude that's taken down the establishment. Does it sound familiar? That's because it's very Trumpy. Farage is apparently a very big Trump guy and wants to basically do British Trump. So that's the kind of the backstory there.
Nominally, this was an attempt by Farage to get ahead of the House of Commons Privileges Committee, which were investigating his financial interests, the result of which could have led to a by-election. He explained that it was up to the people of Clacton to judge him, and that the by-election would be a fight between him and the establishment.
Yes, Super Ghost UK, pardon my language, but feck Farage. No, you bring that language, please. Bring that language all around here. He isn't one of us like he claims, plus he screwed us all over with Brexit, which is a quick reminder he has ties to a certain Eastern European country, yes. Oh, 100%. We'll get into the old Russia. That's
the
so
issue
funny.
here is that the establishment has...
Yeah, so basically, like, as Super Ghost is saying, I get the vibe that, like, nobody really likes this Farage guy. I mean, some people do, as we'll see.
Chosen simply not to engage. The Conservatives, Labour, the Liberal Democrats, the Greens and Restore Britain have all confirmed that they won't be standing a candidate in Clacton. This means that the by-election is set to be a fight between the Reform leader and, if the polls are to be believed, potential future Prime Minister and Count Binface.
Let's go, Binface!
Let's fucking go, Binface.
So, in this video, we're going to have a look into this by-election, why the other parties have stood down, what Farage's plan is, and why it seems like it may have already backfired.
Fucking love him. Give me the bin. Put me in the bin.
If Andy Burnham becomes the next British Prime Minister in summer, the UK will have had 7 Prime Ministers in less than 10 years. So, in the latest issue of our magazine...
Yo, can you imagine? Wait, 7 Prime Ministers in 10 years. I wish we could just go through fucking presidents like that. Are you kidding me? Meanwhile, we got this motherfucker saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go for I'm gonna go for a 3rd term. What do you think? Huh? I'm gonna do 12 years." Yo, we can't get rid of our stank ass politicians once they get in. Holy moly!
We explain why there appears to be a revolving door at number 10 Downing Street. That's just one of 80 pages in the magazine, because there's more in Too Long than you'd expect. Purchase your copy by clicking the link in the description. Now, it's worth starting this video by explaining in a little more detail why Farage opted to trigger the by-election. In the last few weeks, Farage has been under some serious pressure. His party has struggled in a number of by-elections, which has damaged their momentum and raised serious questions about their ability to actually meet expectations in the polls. Separately, the media have highlighted a number of occasions in which Farage hadn't declared his financial interests in the 12 months before he became an MP in 2024.
Exactly, Ajax. We let him sit in Congress till they rot. Like, honestly, the one thing I'm learning about the fucking, about the UK system is there's at least some exit plans for when somebody's fucking shit. You know, at least that's what it seems like. Super goes, wonder what happened around 10-ish years ago. Brexit. Oh, maybe that's where there's been a revolving door of parliament members there. Binface winning would be amazing. I know, Johnny. Well, look, apparently he's got about 30% in the poll, which isn't nothing. Okay, that's not nothing. But we're gonna take a look. There's a couple Binhead supporters out in Clacton,
as is required. Farage largely claimed that he didn't need to declare these interests, as they were personal gifts or benefits, which, as per parliamentary rules, don't need to be declared. Nonetheless, the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner opened an investigation, and it...
Quick $5 million gift. You know, I need to make different friends, I feel like. Me and my best friend used to do, when we would have birthdays in high school, we would make each other a sandwich. Kind of a nice thing, you know, now that I look back on it. I don't know why, we just thought that was funny. But kind of a really nice thing.
It looked likely that Farage may have been found to have broken the rules. If the Standards Committee decided that an appropriate punishment would be a suspension from the House of Commons of more than 10 days, then a recall petition would have been triggered, and if this petition garnered the signatures of more than 10% of Clacton constituents, then a by-election would have been called.
Yeah, oh yeah, Ajax. Binhead has done far better than Vermin Supreme has ever done. And you know, everybody says, the one comment I've gotten on the last Binhead videos, you know, you guys have a Binhead, you have Vermin Supreme. And look, no offense to Vermin, okay? Vermin doesn't have the motion that Binface has right now, okay? Nor has Vermin been able to acquire it. Binface has this charm to him, okay? And I'm really not trying to just be seduced by his British accent, you know, because obviously that British accent is making love to my ears as an American. You know, I'm a dummy, so like anybody with a little British accent is like, oh my God, you must be a science man. But no, you know, that I don't know. Vermin just doesn't have the motion that Binface has, you know? Plus, Vermin is terrestrial, you know, Binface is of another planet. I like that. He's an alien.
Instead of sitting and watching the Standards Commissioner and committee slowly work through this process, Farage seems to have opted to get out ahead of it, and opted to call a by-election himself. In a video on Tuesday, Farage stated that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions.
Now, this is the interesting thing too. So he is triggering that by-election going, the people of Clacton would be the judges of my actions by electing me again. But that doesn't stop the investigation, right? Because the investigation into those misappropriated funds, those undeclared funds, will still happen. even if he wins. So, like, you know, but I guess the idea is if the people voted for me, they won't give a fuck about my 5 million pound gift because they already love me so much, and I am of the people.
And try to frame the by-election as a fight between him and the establishment. There are, though, two major issues with Farage's logic. The first issue, as we explained in a video earlier this week, is that the Privileges Committee will not drop their investigation now that Farage has kickstarted a by-election of his own. They will continue their work if and when he's re-elected.
Yes!
And they could well suspend him from the House.
Yes!
This means that a pathway to a second Clacton by-election later in the year remains open.
Yo, so there'd be another by-election after this. Like, the fact that he's triggering it is already silly in the first place. You know, the whole thing is just silly.
In other words, Farage hasn't avoided a by-election nominally triggered by the Standards Committee.
Curtis McNips, 1772. First of all, gotta say, I love the name, Curtis McNips. 1772. Binface has spent a career in satirical political comedy. He's mocking the idea that politicians need to sound clever rather than be clever, and I am fucking here for it. Yeah, I'm 100% with you, Curtis. Look, you know, the thing that I think is so interesting about Binface, you know, like, as we're gonna see, you know, his manifesto, obviously it's a joke, right? Nationalize Adele. You're not really gonna do that, you know, although I do appreciate the idea of, you know, the workforce, the power of Adele going into the hands of the people. You know, obviously we can't do that. And you know, obviously he's not going to take the rail lines and truly run them through the rail executive houses. But here's what I think. Like, look, here's the thing. If Binface got voted in, if the bin did win, I think the bin would like then have a more earnest approach to any sort of governance than someone like Farage would. You know? Even if their manifesto is a goof, even if they went in there, from the sound of it, if they went in there and did nothing, it would be better than Farage. So, you know, it's quite interesting.
He's just delayed it with an additional by-election. The second issue is that, in order to claim a victory over the establishment and rebuild some momentum for reform, the establishment needs to actually participate. Over the course of Tuesday evening, though, we saw statements from each party announcing that they would not stand against Farage in the Clacton by-election.
Look at how many parties they have, too. We just get the two.
Stating instead that they would stand...
And they both suck. We have other little ones. But they just really support the two.
Any future Clacton by-election triggered by the Standards investigation. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch called Farage's move a gimmick and said her party would not stand in the, quote, fake by-election. Labour called the whole thing a circus and its National Executive Committee agreed it would not stand. Lib Dem leader Ed Davey said his party was not standing and would refuse to give oxygen to Farage's vanity project. The Green Party also confirmed its local members had decided not to stand in the by-election. And Rupert Lowe, the former Farage ally, now leader of the rival Restore Britain, said Restore would not stand in the, quote, reform-sponsored media circus.
Yeah, our Green Party is a psyop, 100%, Johnny.
Now, at face value...
It's just, you know, it's just democratic entryism shit. Like, it's the same, you know... We could go on. That's a whole side video, whole side night.
These are strange decisions. After all, aren't they just guaranteeing Farage's re-election by an even bigger margin? Well, yes, they are effectively handing victory to Farage, but the logic makes sense. By refusing to stand, they deny Farage a proper contest.
Right, because Farage wanted to make a show out of this, right? Farage's main idea is get them all in on this election. I look like the independent person going in saying, let's do a by-election. And then they all send everybody up against me. Like, everybody gets sent up against me. And then when all the people vote for me, it just looks like I am a warrior. I am the Kingslayer who took out every other party. I am the true anti-establishment because I am destroying the establishment parties. The people want anti-establishment, but... I mean, quite frankly, I'm sorry, who's more anti-establishment than a man with a garbage can on his head? You want anti-establishment, the option's there, you know? I'm sorry.
Super Ghost, Farage also broke his promise. He said he would immigrate to another country if Brexit failed, which he admitted it did. That twat nozzle is still here. Oh my God, I love. Please drop as many amazing those sweet UK insults. Ooh, twat nozzle is so good. I love that. Kermit, rise, Binface. We are on the Binface rising over here. Let's go.
Take any shine off the by-election and his presumptive victory, and can paint Farage's move as a selfish, farcical one that comes at the expense of the taxpayer.
Yeah, UK taxpayers will have to fork out for Farage's vanity by-election. That's... Oh, wow. So because he's even going ahead and like running this thing, right? Even if nobody else is in it, it's still got to get paid for. Votes still got to get counted. Ballots still got to get printed. And who's going to pay for that? The taxpayer. So if nobody else enters, he looks even double dummy. Even double dick dummy. For being just a fucking greedy little asshole.
Without the mainstream...
And I mean, how much more establishment can you look than having a whole election thrown for just you?
Party standing, it's hard...
Thank you, Kermit. What a wanker. Bell end. Absolute bell end.
Harder for Farage to make his case that it's a people versus establishment by-election. And with no other mainstream candidates to scrutinise, one imagines that attention will not shift from his financial scandals. And for the non-competing parties, it saves themselves from spending time, money and resources on a by-election that they likely would have lost anyway. There is actually precedent for this. Back in 2008, Conservative MP David Davis, aiming to highlight and protest against the Labour government's 42-day terror detention plan, resigned from Parliament and stood again in the subsequent by-election. Neither the Liberal Democrats or Labour stood in that by-election, declaring the whole thing a political stunt by Davis.
Super Ghost, Farage even looks like, what if a toad became a corrupt accountant? Yo, that is so good. That is so good. Oh my God, there's... Oh, I love this.
Of course, Davis won with 7...
There's just something so sophisticated about the UK burn.
22% of the vote, but the wind had been taken out of his sails, and it's remembered as a bit of a damp squib. But back to Farage, it's not true to say that he won't face any competition. That's because one individual who has confirmed that they will stand is Count Binface, previously known as Lord Buckethead, the perennial novelty candidate played by comedian John Harvey. The Count has become a staple of British politics.
Like, look at that. Look at just this image. Yo, Peep Show, favorite British comedy. Peep Show is great. Peep Show is great, but yo, where are my spaced heads at? That's the best. That's the best Brit show. Where are my spaced heads at? Come on now. That was my shit.
Usually standing in the seats of incumbent prime ministers, leading to some iconic images, as well as in notable...
Yo, this is great. I want more pictures like this for us.
...by-elections, with a whole host of...
I like this Fox guy too. Apparently this Fox guy is well known.
...satirical policies. He has, for instance, promised to build at least one affordable home to...
Oh, Ajax, you gotta watch Spaced. Spaced is Simon Pegg's original show. That's, I think, one of his first shows. And it's very good. They smoke a lot of weed, play some Resident Evil 2. Oh, the Mighty Boosh! That's a good one, too. I love the Boosh. I am a fan of the Boosh.
To bring back CFAX and to move the hand dryer in the men's toilets at Uxbridge's Crown and Treaty pub to a more sensible position. Now, we're certainly not saying that Count Binface will win. In the Makerfield by-election, he only managed to secure 95 votes, around 0.2%. However, he could plausibly be the only other recognisable candidate alongside Farage, making him the de facto anti-Farage candidate.
Oh, Ajax, you love Mr. Peg? Excellent, but Mr. Peg is my father, please. You could just call me Peg. Butt Pegman. That would be, if there was a Hideo Kojima game, he would probably have the nuance of naming, like, any gay character Butt Plugman, for sure. I truly believe that about Hideo Kojima. I think he's a little dumb in that way. Controversial statement. Super Ghost, you can get golden plonkers. Golden plonkers, where an idiot has good intentions. Farage is pure bile on a bucket of shit. Excellent. Plonkers. I like plonkers. Plonkers is good. Have you ever drinking Bailey from a shoe? You ever been to a club where people wee on each other? I thought Mr. Peg was your... All right, Kermit. That was silly. I can't even be mad at that. That was silly. Random fact, Noel Fielding and his brother grew up near you, Super Ghost. That's fucking cool. Oh, that's fucking awesome. Nigel Farage is British Andrew Cuomo. Fantastic. I love that comparison. I love that comparison.
If this is the case, then we should expect him to secure significantly more votes than in Makerfield, and possibly even come second. It's worth pointing out that independents and smaller local parties will likely also stand. This sort of result would really add to the argument put forward by Farage's political opponents, that his resignation and this by-election is a bit of a farce. This is an incredibly nuanced story though, with plenty of outlets reporting online, and even now we can see that there were 431 sources reporting.
Okay, Groundad. Okay, Groundad. Don't you do that. Okay. So that was just a little reminder on who the bin is. You know, last week we did a pretty good deep dive, but that was a light refresher of the bin. Okay, now let's take a look. I want to take a look at something else, because what is the bin? What's the bin doing here? Okay, what is this Clacton place? What's it all about? What do the people of Clacton think of the bin? Well, Sky News is going to inform us, okay? And it's Sky News, which, you know, obviously it has its biases, but, you know, they went out to Clacton and they interviewed a couple people who were bin supporters. So we're going to get it here. Nigel Farage. Oh yeah, I already read that one. How close-ish. All Britain is close compared to the USA. That's so funny. Cinemy, please take him, Super Ghost said. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, this is good to know. Top 3 British shows are Father Ted, Only Fools and Horses, and Faulty Towers, hands down. See, I haven't heard of any of those. I haven't heard of a single one of those shows. I gotta check it out. Okay, here we go. So let's see what Clacton thinks of the bin here, okay? Let's take a look at what the locals on the ground are saying about the bin.
In this corner of Essex, the media circus is rolling back into town.
I've done my interview already, I do apologise.
Is this the stage for just...
Oh man, that accent was crazy.
In this corner of Essex, the media circus is rolling back into town.
I've done my interview already, I do apologise.
Is this the stage for just another...
Done my interview already.
You would rather a bin representing you in Parliament than Nigel Farage?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I mean, I think that's going to be a lot of the general consensus, is you'd rather have a garbage can represent you than Nigel Farage. And, like, everyone's like, yeah, that sounds pretty good at this point.
Or is there something bigger happening here? After one man tried to grip the political moment...
I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions.
Super Ghost. Cinema, you want war? Take Farage. Noel is a national treasure. That's so funny. I kind of wanted to know what everybody thought of Noel Fielding in the UK, because I didn't know, like, if he's loved as much, or, you know, there's also some things in the Mighty Boosh that haven't aged as well, you know, so I didn't know what the general consensus was.
This will be a people versus the establishment by-election.
Triggering a by-election in a place he knows he has his backers.
You vote for Farage? Yeah.
Is Clacton like the British version of Atlantic City? So in New Jersey, there's like a town that's just like casinos and the beach and old people that go there, right? And this is giving me a very similar vibe. Boardwalk, casinos. I don't know, like, what. I wouldn't say Atlantic City is, like, rich people at all. Is Clacton? It looks a little hoity-toity. I can't tell, though. The crack fox! I'm the crack fox! Oh, I love that shit. He has the fucking needles for fingers. Oh, my favorite from the crack fox is when he's going through the slides and he's like, that one's for the night times, for the fuzzy tingle times. That's good shit. Or the mirror, the dude with the mirror balls. Look at them shine. I love that boosh. Oh, I love that boosh.
I would, yeah.
I'll give you a guess.
Nigel Farage?
There you go.
Okay, so this guy's voting Nigel Farage. Okay, yeah, Super Ghost. Clacton is budget, old Atlantic City-ish. Okay, yes. And I mean, Atlantic City's kind of budget, I think. Like, so, and honestly, like, just looking at the kind of people here, the vibe of this dude, this is like every Atlantic City grandpa. 100%. You know, like, I don't know what hat this is, but he would be wearing a VFW hat, you know, something like that.
Do you mind me asking who you're going to vote for?
No, Reform.
So do you feel even more emboldened to vote for Nigel Farage this time than last time?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, feels more emboldened, yeah. So it's just like the old people who like drink up the shit, who buy the shit no matter what. Tom, is Restore Britain leader Rupert Lowe comparable to Oswald Mosley? We're gonna need our UKers on that one. Kermit, force Noah with lots of money to play old Greg as PM for however many years it is per term. Not a bad idea. Although, honestly, I think you get Noel to just go as Noel. Like, you know, you want to get charmed? You want to have your country with, like, the most charming person in lead? Then you get Noel Fielding. I mean, you know, easy peasy.
It is a very unusual by-election. A record 34 candidates are standing. That's even after the Tories, Labour, Greens, Lib Dems, Restore all boycotted the race. They want to wait till after that parliamentary probe into the £5 million gift Nigel Farage received, who for his part says he's done nothing wrong. But there is one name in particular beyond Nigel Farage that does come up again and again here. Who are you voting for?
Binface.
Let's go!
Binface. Absolutely. 100%.
Is that because you want Count Binface to be your elected representative in Parliament?
I have looked at his manifesto and there is a lot of rubbish in there, don't get me wrong.
Is it basically a vote against Farage?
It's a vote against Farage.
Okay, now look, here's the thing. Okay, again, with the manifesto, is there rubbish in it? Sure, there's some goofs, but you know he's not serious about the goofs. Like, he's not actually gonna run the trains through rail executives' homes, even though that would be sick, and I agree with it, and I would love to see that happen. But that's not actually gonna happen. Again, I think you're taking less of a gamble on a guy with a bin for his head than like a clearly corrupt person. So like, why not? You know, roll the dice. As far as I see it, you're taking a gamble either way. And quite frankly, Binhead seems like a much safer gamble.
For those that don't know, this is who they're talking about. A comedian dressed as a bin who has stood and lost time and again in other by-elections.
A hero dressed as a bin.
I haven't called this election, somebody else has. Now here's a little factoid for you. This is my 8th election on planet Earth.
So no prizes for guessing who you're going to vote for?
I love him.
Yeah, Count Binface.
Why?
Because he's the only alternative to Nigel Farage, and I'd like to see Nigel Farage lose his seat.
The widespread expectation is that Nigel Farage will win here, but people aren't just voting for what they want, they are voting for what they don't want. We have seen so much tactical voting recently in Gorton and Denton, in Makerfield. It is particularly striking here that there is at least a level of organisation round Count Binface. People are willing to vote for a novelty candidate to try to stop Nigel Farage. Is there a world where Nigel Farage doesn't win this?
Well, there's certainly a world in which he doesn't win this. Let's not forget, in 2024, he did not secure a majority of the votes in Clacton. For another candidate, such as perhaps a Count Binface, to overturn Nigel Farage, they would have to unite all of that vote, turn it all out, and hope that Nigel Farage doesn't put on any extra votes himself. So I think all of that is quite unlikely, particularly given there is no real sort of formal campaign machinery around Count Binface. But, you know, stranger things have happened, I guess.
You don't need formal campaign machinery around Binface, okay? I'm over here. I'm across the pond supporting the bin, okay? I'm sorry, you just don't get that kind of motion for free. That comes if you have to have so much charisma. You have to be so fucking electric. And I honestly, I think Binface has it. Curtis, Rory Stewart, and Alistair Campbell spoke about Binface needing to get canvassers out, get the parties not running to support. However, this would legitimize the entire farcical election. Yeah, I mean, look, I think even if you legitimized it, even if you got the support behind him to do it, I don't know, man. I'm not from the UK, so it's not, it's not my business to be dancing around in, but like, as far as I'm concerned, a vote for Binface is far less risky than a vote for Farage, is what it seems like. Why vote for somebody who's a known criminal, who's a known crook, when you can vote for somebody who, at the worst, is an unknown crook? I mean, then it's at least a little exciting if it ends up being bad. But hey, oh, Super Ghost, I'd rather get fisted by Jack the Ripper than vote for Farage. Now that's a real UK opinion right there, okay? Okay, so, I know I'm from the US reporting on this, but don't just take it from me. Those are our UK citizens here saying, I'd rather get fisted by Jack the Ripper than vote for Farage. So I trust it. I trust that. That's the voice of the people. This guy, I don't trust him. He's wearing a suit. I don't like it.
Yes.
Giles Watling was the MP here for nearly a decade, unseated by Nigel Farage. If you think there are 3 things that matter to people here, what are they?
Health, communications, and the roads.
So it's kind of local issues, really?
Yes.
Oh, it's interesting you don't put immigration in there.
Immigration is... We don't have an immigration problem here in Clacton. It is for the rest of the country. People are concerned about that, of course, and it is an issue, but we don't see boats arriving here.
You don't have to look far to see we are in Reform UK territory here. Predominantly white, older, Brexit voting Clacton was a first UKIP seat. Turnout could well be low, but a Reform source tells me they're hoping for 80% of the vote share. Would you vote for Farage, Nigel Farage?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Did you vote for him last time?
No.
I don't think so.
But this time you would?
Yeah.
Does Homeboy have a Dragon Ball Z shirt on? Does my guy have the dragon? The titular dragon from Dragon Ball Z? On his shirt? Just this old geezer? We got an old school geezer voting for Raj, wearing a Dragon Ball Z shirt. Okay.
Yeah, this time I would do, yeah.
How come?
Yo, it is Dragon Ball Z. What's going on? Do you know what you're wearing, buddy? What's happening?
Well, he's the only person that I find truthful, says it how it is.
Farage.
Why?
I like him, and I think he's very upfront. There's no mucking around with him. I find he's going to do everything that he says he's going to do, and hopefully he'll stand by with the migrants, getting rid of them.
So that's a big part of it for you, immigration.
A big part of it, yeah.
Oh my God, yo, that's woo. The UK's got their racist old crackpots just like the US. This is a little. We're having a little cultural exchange session over here. This is like, oh, look at your crackpots. You have the same crackpots we have. They just do it in like a more like faux polite way. I find it very interesting because they'll be like, hopefully he takes care of the migrants. She makes like a little face like she's like, oh, I'm saying a little cheeky, I hate all the migrants. I do hope he gets rid of them all. It comes with like this little face. Look at this.
I find he's going to do everything that he says he's going to do, and hopefully he'll stand by with the migrants, getting rid of them.
So that's
look at it. She's saying it like she's asking like Santa for something for Christmas, that she's like, it's a bit of an ask, that's a bit of an expensive gift. It's like, maybe I could get a, Super Nintendo. I don't know.
It's like, maybe they could, you know, just get rid of some migrants. I don't know. Fucking crazy, man.
That's a big part of it for you, immigration.
I actually will be voting for Count Binface. I don't think I've actually seen many changes in the 2 years that Nigel Farage has been in power. And there's a lot of things I do feel very strongly about. And though I do think that Count Binface, some of his manifesto is a bit of a jibe and a bit of a joke, I think, you know, someone new, I think it'd be something fresh as well.
What's your favourite policy of his?
I can't lie, the 99p ice cream, I think that's brilliant.
Are you going to be voting in this bar?
Wait, what's your favorite?
I can't lie, the 99p ice cream, I think that's brilliant.
Are you going to be
Oh, see the 99 pence ice cream.
Policy of his? I can't lie, the 99p ice cream, I think that's brilliant.
Are you going to be voting in this by-election?
At the moment, I'd say no.
Why not?
I'm very disappointed Nigel stood down.
Ah, why?
Because I don't think he should have. You know, they're all getting at him and all that. It's like the new Prime Minister, you've got to give them a chance.
All the stuff, you know, with the donations, that's part of the reason he stepped down. What do you make of all that?
They all like it. They all do the same thing.
2 miles down the road in this constituency is the village of Jaywick.
Yeah, Super Ghost. As soon as you mentioned Farage's policies like privatizing healthcare, abolishing national minimum wage, etc., they instantly dislike those, but their racism is stronger. Oh, I so feel that. That's our conservatives too. They'll shoot themselves in the foot just to be like, yeah, but at least they didn't take our derbs. At least they didn't take our jarbs. Like they will absolutely. What is it? Something with your nose to spite your face. I don't remember what it is, but they will absolutely like vote against their better interests just because their hatred is far stronger than their desire to have anything positive in their life. Very strange way to live. Couldn't imagine doing it myself.
By government metrics, the most deprived neighbourhood in England.
It's got a lot of bad press, but it's a good place to be.
The beach is beautiful.
It's beautiful, isn't it? People love it.
And people, you know, some people do struggle really bad down here, don't they? And I think with Jaywick, we don't get nothing really sorted.
It doesn't matter who's in power, so I'll look after myself.
Whoever gets in...
See, that guy knows what he's talking about. That guy knows what's up. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who.
They need to sort it out. We don't want talk, we want action.
Yeah, I've been here 8 years.
What are the things that matter to people living here?
Yeah. But they're nice to say good morning, good afternoon. I walk my dog every day. Him.
You're going to have to vote again. What do you think of that?
If he has nothing to hide, why didn't he answer the questions? That's why I reckon he quit.
To be clear.
Thank you. That guy gets it. See, it's so interesting. You go into the areas that are a little less affluent and they're way more like on the money with what's going on because their interest isn't in preserving, you know, whatever white hegemonic power structure that they want secretly reinforced by somebody like Farage. They actually can see it for what it is, which is just another money man coming in and using the position to make money, to enrich themselves at the expense of their constituents.
Clear, we've got four votes for Nigel Farage here. 1, 2, 3, 4. See what happens?
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it happens.
But then those people, interesting too. They said they're gonna vote for Farage. So I mean, it's just like us. You got all different kinds. You got all different kinds. Super Ghost 99p ice cream. I'd rather have back the prices prior to Brexit. Used to be able to go to the store. Used to be able to buy store brand fruit juice for 20p, and now it's over £1 £1? Yo, don't even come to the grocery stores over here. Don't never come to America. Don't do it. I'm telling you. Yeah, you'll pay 3 times as much. Get 4 times as much diarrhea, and the food will be 9 times as processed. It is wild. Every time I've been to Italy, I've been to Scotland, I've been to London, and I've been to Amsterdam. And in every single one of those places, and I've been to Paris. And every single one of those places, like just being there, my tum-tum felt so much better. I was like, oh, this is how you're supposed to operate when they're not trying to make the food actually just kill you. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
People in this seat are being asked to pick their MP for the 6th time in 12 years.
Do you think people mind the fact that they're having to go out and vote again?
There's two schools of thought in this. Some people think it's ridiculous and they're cross about it because it is just nonsense. And there's the other school of thought, which is, oh, look at us, we're the centre of the universe again. That's one thing I will thank Nigel Farage for, is we are still the centre of the universe as far as the media are concerned right now.
So he's just like, hey, Clacton's getting those tourism dollars. I don't give a fuck.
Nigel Farage is found to have broken Parliament's rules. He may yet face another by-election. But Reform insiders think this gamble will pay off. We'll soon know.
Who am I voting for? Nigel Farage, of course.
If he's overplayed his hand.
He's the best, simply the best.
We'll see about that. I think Binhead's a lot better. But the question remains, can Binface actually win? Can Binface actually do anything here? Now, I don't know the answer to that, of course, so we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this from ABC News Australia. Maybe they have a bit of a better idea. We're going to look at the polling data, and we're going to see what it says. But essentially, you could see, you know, Clacton's getting a little shaken up by this, all right? Now, I think ultimately Farage will probably win, but this goes to say something. And really, again, I would love to see the gamble taken on somebody like a Binface. Like, we just don't know what could happen. It could be so much better. It could be worse, but it could be so much better.
A bizarre beachside by-election between a man hoping to be the UK's next Prime Minister and a man dressed as a bin.
Do not underestimate the power of the bin.
Earlier this month, popular
100%.
Reform UK leader Nigel Farage quit Parliament following a donation scandal, but he's recontesting his seat of Clacton-on-Sea.
I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions.
The major parties say it's a circus and they're not taking part, leaving serial candidate Count Binface as Nigel Farage's main challenger.
Hello. It is a pleasure to meet you.
The ABC was granted an interview with the Count, who's actually a British comedy writer.
Now, one thing about his accent that I heard from one of the comments, now apparently his accent is like emulating an older wealthy style of talking or something in the UK. Any of my British folks, please do correct me on this. But apparently he's part of the character is that he's putting on this voice that's not even like his real voice. And it is like, you know, to represent that like, it would be used by somebody of a higher class or something like that. So it's another part of the character that has some like layers. Apparently this guy's very funny.
You go after the big names.
I believe it
and now
too.
you're going after Nigel Farage. Why?
Well, I think going after is quite an aggressive phrase. I am participating in the wonder of democracy. It's pretty darn clear what the choice is. Nigel Farage or not Nigel Farage. Easy peasy.
Some say it's all getting a bit too silly. Others say the bin is following a proud British tradition.
So this is a rich seam of British satire and humour, which in the end wouldn't normally get much of a mention.
Here, in this country, you can vote for whoever you want, and you can stand for election, no matter what you look like.
Do you think you can win?
Yes, we tin can, is one of my slogans.
If he does win,
Yo, and I think there's something valid to that, like actually like is so great, like being that anybody can run, and that it's as accessible as this, that you could put a bin on your head and you can run, and you know, but if you were serious, you could run too, you know, somebody serious could be doing this. I just looking at this government. You know, I'm sure there's tons of problems, just like our government, but it seems like it's way more flexible in terms of being able to get people in or out, or, you know, getting anybody to be a representative of the people.
When the Count faces a problem, parliamentary rules mean an MP can't sit in the Commons with a bin on their head. Elias Kluwer, ABC News, London.
Yeah, so the biggest concern right now for him is that he can't have a bin on his head. Curtis, a big interest for me would be what the voter turnout percent will be in comparison to previous elections. But I do love that the world is invested in a local vote of an 85,000 population constituency. You know, I think it's something very interesting too, because like I'd be interested to see and like if it does anything for a younger vote turnout. You know, like theoretically, the world is different now. The way we communicate is different. We communicate instantly. We you know, and a lot of these elections, you know, they're still run and they still operate in a way that doesn't necessarily account for that. So where it might have been that you needed a ton of money to even like campaign to be well known enough that like, you know, you even have people in the US talking about you when you're from the UK. You don't need necessarily the traditional route of being somebody who has a huge financial backing. Now you can find something like you can be someone with a bin on your head. Like, you know, what would happen too if like the only thing that was satirical about Binface was the clothing? What if the manifesto had nothing? Like, what if the manifesto had nothing jokey in it, all good policy, but the candidate was just Count Binface, you know? I'd be curious about that and what that could do to upending an election. Like, you know, obviously we have a bit of fun with it because it's a dude with a garbage can on his head, but like, what could happen to the way elections are done? What could happen to the way people gain power and notoriety through marketing and things like that in traditional forms of campaigning that are different now? You know, from what I see, the way I see it, Count Binface is like this grand experiment into how all that shit could potentially work. But the thing is, you know, Nigel Farage is a real crook who works with real crooked people. So there are a few aristocrats who are funding Nigel and the Reform Party here. And apparently they're some of the most insufferable douches that history has given us the misery of knowing. So we're going to learn a little bit about them. There's Nigel Farage here, but take this guy, Posh George Cottrell. Yes, that is one of the guys he hangs out with who wrote a book called How to Launder Money. Okay? So this is what we're dealing with here. Nigel Farage and his buddy, Posh George, who wrote How to Launder Money. You feel like that's a safer bet than the garbage can guy with a couple of good actual policies. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing we're looking at here. So on the 7th of June, Nigel Farage announced that he was resigning as the MP for Clacton amid the political furor caused by his £5 million undeclared gift from crypto billionaire and major Reform UK donor Christopher Harborne. Now, Farage said that he will stand for re-election in we already know that. So, you know, Nigel Farage says he's going to stand for re-election and it's going to be people versus the establishment. But judging by the makeup of the Reform's donors, the party is firmly embedded in the establishment that Farage has attempted to malign. And again, we're going to hear a lot of similarities with Trump because basically what happens is these people get involved with corporate interest, right? Corporate interest becomes the power structure, okay? And then corporate interest becomes the establishment. So once you're making these deals with these companies and you're beholden to them, well, then all of a sudden that's what is creating the power and that's what is dictating what the power does. So not only has Reform accepted millions of crypto barons and fossil fuel interests, it has also been bankrolled by aristocrats, peers, and owners of swanky private members clubs. Quote, my family have known the Cottrell family and the broader Hesketh family for 50 years, a successful aristocratic family, said Reform Deputy Leader Richard Tice in an interview with Times Radio on the 10th of June. So 50 years of knowing somebody. These are ties that go deep, okay? Thinking in the context of, history. This is like some old money being passed down sort of stuff, right? Tice is being questioned about the £1 million transfer from Fiona Cottrell to his company, Britain Means Business, half of which was donated to Reform. Fiona and her son, George Cottrell, have been in the news recently for their financial ties to Farage's party, and they are far from Reform's only old money backers. There we go. Like they just said, old money. All right? These are people that have had the money, that have had the power, and they don't want to see it go away, right? So I don't know why anybody would think that somebody like Farage is outside of a system like that. So Fiona Cottrell is the daughter of Rupert Watson, the third Baron Manton. Under her maiden name, Fiona Watson, she was a former glamour model and one-time girlfriend of King Charles III when he was the Prince of Wales. On top of the £1 million she gave to Britain Means Business, Cottrell has donated £750,000 directly to Reform, although a large portion, $500,000, is currently being investigated by the Metropolitan Police. And, like, I feel like these aren't even big numbers when it comes to, like, corruption. Like, we're putting up major numbers over here. Billions, right? We got B's in our corruption. So like, I feel like this is just wildly different. George Cottrell, nicknamed Posh George, is a part of Farage's inner cadre, having been UKIP's head of fundraising and later Farage's chief of staff, who was previously convicted of wire fraud after being arrested by undercover U.S. agents while attending the 2016 National Republic Convention with Farage. He's also provided direct financial support to the Reform premier. So, holy shit, this guy, Posh George, has been so deeply ingrained with Farage, and he's been convicted of wire transfer fraud. Like, literally already a fraudster. Arrested by undercover U.S. agents at the National Republican Convention. I'd pay money to see that, actually. So Cottrell helped fund Farage's anti-immigration campaign videos in 23 and 24, supplied him with security, and allowed the Reform leader to use an office in his 5-story London townhouse, which overlooks Buckingham Palace. Farage didn't declare these gifts, and recently falsely claimed that he hadn't received any additional support from George since being elected to Parliament. So this guy's putting big money behind bigoted policy, okay? I mean, we see it all the time over here. But they're doing the same exact thing Trump's doing, anti-immigration. Big-time anti-immigration backing, and that's what they're running on. And you can see the people of Clacton, you know, apparently like that kind of shit. Not everybody, I don't think, but we definitely saw that old lady. As his nickname suggests, George is known for his opulent tastes, lives in a penthouse in Tivat, Montenegro, and regularly claims to have a trust fund of £250 million, according to the Sunday Times. And his aristocratic lineage is extensive. George is the nephew of Thomas Alexander Fermor Hesketh, 3rd Baron Hesketh, a former conservative donor who defected to UKIP. One of Alexander's 3 sons, Frederick Hatton Fermor Hesketh, donated £11,500 to Reform last year. Yo, it is hard to keep these names straight. Holy shit. These are the most British ass names I've ever heard in my life. Frederick Hatton Fermor Hesketh? Sounds British as fuck to me, but I might not be. Another member of high society to have donated $100,000 to Reform is Isabel Marcel Christina Goldsmith, daughter of Sir James Goldsmith and Bolivian heiress Maria Isabel Patino, the father of the former financier who left a £1.5 billion pound fortune to his family on his death in 1997. There we go. Now those are some American numbers right there. 1.5 billion. That's an American number. Isabel Goldsmith is an avid art collector and half-sister of conservative politician Zach Goldsmith, who served in a ministerial position under conservative leaders Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and Rishi Sunak. There's also a familial link between Zach Goldsmith's mother, Lady Annabel Goldsmith. Holy shit, Lady Annabel Goldsmith is now the most British name I've ever heard in my life. And another high-profile Reform donor, Robin Burley, who has donated £172,000 to the party. Geez Louise, man. These are so Farage is a member of 5 Hertford Street, which earned the moniker of the Brexit sex dungeon around the time of the referendum due to the number of anti-EU figures who frequented the establishment. Whoa, that's the Brexit bang bus? That's crazy. So the club costs a rumored £3,000 to join, including the £1,200 joining fee, and its members reportedly wander around in smoking jackets, velvet slippers, and signet rings. Yo, these rich people just want to play this fucking, like, weird shit all the time. Like, this is just some weird shit. Farage appears to conduct a considerable amount of his political business from Burley's Club. Wow, so he's deep in there. It was reported in 2025 that the Reform leader held a fundraiser at Oswald's, founded as a private wine club, to attract billionaire donors, including former Tory patron Basim Hadir, all while popping Jeroboams of white Burgundy and double magnums of Tempo Diagnalis. I don't even know what this shit is. This shit is so rich that I don't even know these fucking words are. Jeroboams of white Burgundy and double magnums of Tempo D'Angulis? The event reportedly raised £1 million for the party. Burley isn't Reform's only private members club donor. Another backer, Stephen McTiernan, behind 3 donations worth a combined £15,000, appears to be the director of another exclusive private members club, the Oriental Club. Ooh. I feel like that can't be the name of your club. Located in Stratford House near Oxford Street in central London. The club is described on its website as being, quote, founded by returning officers and officials from India and the East, for whom the club was a valued haven in London. And, quote, a place where high-ranking members of the East India Company could meet and do business in pleasant, comfortable surroundings whilst home on leave. Damn, the East India Company? Yo, this shit is old. The Duke of Wellington says it was the club's first and only president in 1824. Yo, this is old evil shit. Crazy. Reform's donor base is also populated by several individuals with peerages. Lord Anthony Bamford, who stood down from the upper chamber in 2024, is one of Reform's more recent donors, having previously given vast sums to the Conservative Party. The combined wealth of £10.3 billion, the Bamford family gives Farage's party $200,000 in November last year. Through its multinational construction conglomerate, JCB, while Lord Bamford paid for a helicopter flight for Farage and one of his staff members to tour a JCB site in 2024, valued at £8,413. So he's just getting all these gifts, all these privileges, living the high life, okay? Really getting, saying he's of the people, but truly living with the elites, getting money from some of the richest, oldest families in the world. Absolutely, this guy is part of establishment. Are you kidding me? This guy's friends with old money. Old money is establishment. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Reform also has financial ties to the owner of the Daily Mail, Viscount Rothmere, the great-grandson of Harold Harmsworth, who founded the newspaper in the late 19th century and was handed hereditary titles in the 1910s. Wow, crazy. Not all of Reform's donors are aristocrats, but even those lacking old money or a peerage have a habit of engaging in aristocratic hobbies. So even the ones that aren't rich are wannabe rich. They just, everybody wants to be a part of this fucking rich culture. It's so weird, gross. Curtis McNips, the Binface as a young Padawan spent time in Delta 13 with the Bucketheads before returning to Sigma 9 to fulfill his potential as Count Binface. Love it. Reform donor Johan Christofferson, who gave the party £100,000 in June 2025, has a keen interest in fox hunting. A hedge fund manager and former Tory donor, Christofferson was the joint master of a Scottish fox hunt that was prosecuted in 2017 for illegal hunting. Yo, what kind of weird lame-o do you have to be like, do you want to go hunt fox? Shall we go hunt endangered fox? That's just weird shit. As documented by D-Smog, senior Reform politician Zia Yusuf, also a party donor, made his money by providing luxury experiences to the super rich. Commenting on the importance of transparency around political donations, Kerry Mitchell, executive director of strategy at Best for Britain, which campaigns to strengthen the UK's democracy, said, quote, Nigel Farage likes to present himself as a man of the people, But with a parliamentary investigation by the standards watchdog into undeclared gifts, there are clearly questions for him to answer when it comes to transparency. And I mean all of his old money connections. Like, are you really going to serve the people, or are you going to be serving old money families? Because that's probably what you're going to be doing. Quote, scrutiny of political donations is a critically important part of the electoral process, allowing voters to assess who is seeking to represent them, and evading it demonstrates a fundamental contempt for voters and the UK's values as a parliamentary democracy. Okay? So look, the big thing here is that, Super Ghost, all you need to know is that those drinks weren't made in the UK. Pro-UK anti-immigrants saving their money abroad, buying French wine, and driving German cars. Sounds about right. Interesting. So, guys, this is what it all boils down to here, okay? If you look at somebody like Nigel Farage, you don't have to do that much work to figure out how crooked they are, okay? They're going to say things. They're not going to do those things that they say. Just look at the people they're attached to and where their money comes from, okay? If their money is coming from a family of people who have books written called How to Launder Money, if money is coming from people who are so deeply ingrained in old money, do you really think anything is going to change in a progressive and positive direction? No, it's going to be reinforcing the old same establishment things. So ultimately, as somebody from the US who has no skin in this election at all, my thought is a vote for the bin is a vote for a win. So, I mean, I don't know. Put it in the bin. Put it in the bin. Get rid of Farage, guys. Please, show us in the U.S. how we can take your rich history of satirical politics and use it to our benefit, okay? Because, again, I think if you had somebody like Binface go up with pure... What if that manifesto was just great policy? What if you combined a satirical candidate with, like, the actual populist policy that people want? What would happen? I'm just curious. I want to see what would happen. But this Binface gives us a little clue as to, like, well, you could take away a percentage of votership from people if really they need to have somebody who is not the worst option. But take it a step further, you know? Flip it. Like Binface, let's see just like let's put out a new manifesto that's all good points. Take all, like, I don't know. Then do one that's all silly points, because I like your silly points. But anyway, guys, that is continuing down the bin hole. We've gone a little bit deeper down the bin hole today, and I hope you enjoyed the trek. I know we basically covered like two things today, Delaney Hall and this, but we're going to leave it at that, because that was a chonky session, okay? But guys, I appreciate the hell out of you. Fun stuff coming up on the horizon. A couple new videos. One video I'm very excited about. Manly Pants is coming back. Oh, yes. He's coming back and better than ever. I'm going to be doing a new series with Manly Pants called Gay Video Game History. And I will be going through all different historical franchises. Super Mario, Metal Gear, all the famous ones that you love. And I will be making a case for why every single video game is subliminally gay, as Manly Pants, obviously. So that will be... Oh, yes! Oh, Mosh Pit Dookie. I do need... Yeah, we'll do that one on Thursday, Ajax. I did need to cover that. I forgot. But this stuff ended up being big. So anyway, we've got that coming up with Manly Pants. We got the semen retention to alt-right pipeline, still chugging through that script. God, it takes me so long, but my brain that's a tough one. But yeah, we got those coming for you guys. We'll have more live streams, more great stuff. But yeah, guys, I'll see you on Thursday for the next live stream. Please do come out and hang. You know, we're always doing the good stuff here. But I appreciate you all hanging out with me once again. This is like my favorite. I love this. This is my favorite, guys. Honestly, to get out and hang out with you on a Monday and get away from, you know, I'm always at Delaney Hall and shit now. Like, covering some of these lighter stories with you guys has been really, really refreshing. So I appreciate you being with me for the fun. Curtis, Binface said about this election and him winning, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. That's why we love. That's what we love to hear from the Binface. You can't keep him down. You just can't. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out once again. I love you guys. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. I'll see you Thursday.